All right, good evening everyone. My name is Scott Jones. I am Director of Communications and Public Affairs for Goldstone Exterior Services. We're glad to be here with you tonight. A couple of folks I'd like to introduce before I get going. We're very fortunate to have two folks from the City of Houston, Miss Sylvia Brumlow, who is part of HPD's Environmental Enforcement Division, who will be able to talk with us about some of the regulations I'm going to cover in this presentation. Also joining us is Ms. Naomi Macias, who is with the City of Houston's Health Department. If any of you guys have ever had any permitting requirements having to do with the Health Department, more than likely you either know Naomi or folks from their operation. Once again, Mr. President, Board, members of ACOE, we're very privileged to be here. On behalf of Goldstone Exterior Services, you know, when we were sitting around talking about who was going to be up here to represent the company, our president, Gene Neustadt, who I'd also like to introduce right there. Some of you know Gene. We were sitting around the room trying to decide who was going to speak, and he set a high standard and said he wanted the biggest windbag in the room. So, you know, you got me, so you're stuck with it. But anyway, this presentation is probably going to be a little bit different than what you normally see. This is about our company, yes, but it's so much more. Those of you that have had experience in or are involved in exterior services, predominantly power washing and the like, if you followed it over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of confusion, a lot of outreach and education from HPD on what the requirements are under the Texas Water Code and the Clean Water Act with regard to what we call cosmetic wash water runoff. What we wanted to do today was not only to tell you about our company, but also to take this opportunity to do what we've done since the company was founded, and that is to educate folks on what the burgeoning requirements are. The days of the mom and pop, you know, squirt off the driveway, squirt off the parking lot, let it run into the storm sewer days are over. And there's been a lot of enforcement action. There's been some news media coverage of that. So we wanted to take this opportunity not only to tell you about our company, but hopefully give you some information and knowledge that would help you in your operation. But first and foremost, I'd like to talk a little bit about Goldstone Exterior Services. You know, in a nutshell, if I were to describe Goldstone in one short sentence, it is about doing the right thing in the right way. And I say that about this company based on how we started, and that is we built the company from the ground up with a closed-loop water recovery system that is probably the most environmentally superior technology available in the marketplace, but more importantly, compliant with the ever-changing and growing requirements under the Water Act and the City of Houston ordinances, which Sylvia and Naomi will talk about. But we start with our customer commitment. We talk about what we call the Goldstone peace of mind, and that's providing you fully compliant power washing services. Now you're probably sitting there going, well, you know, we've been washing off sidewalks and, you know, washing off parking lots and driveways, and it goes to the great beyond through that little drain over there, okay? Well, unfortunately, under the current regulations, that's not so clear-cut anymore, and there are more stringent requirements to protect our water resources and our waterways in place to do that. Does that mean it's more difficult? No. But there's a lot of confusion, and there's a process with regard to how you manage your wash water, which seems on its face to be a simple task, but when you look at the levels of polyaromatic hydrocarbons and volatile organics that end up in Galveston Bay every year, the enforcement of these regulations with regard to simple things like power washing and exterior services and the kind of runoff they create, especially in the City of Houston, which Sylvia will address, are different today. And there's a lot of confusion or just lack of knowledge on it. But our peace of mind comes from the fact that we built our company from the ground up with this environmentally superior technology. Not only that, is it compliant, it provides a very high quality result. But at the end of the day, we compete with others and we work hard to cost compete amongst a handful of providers in the city that can provide truly compliant technologies at the level Goldstone Exterior can. I would suggest there's probably only 3 or 4 that made the capital investments or anywhere close to what we've made in the technology to ensure that we protect our end customers' interest by being compliant with these regulations. We're a full service provider in the commercial real estate and industrial sectors. We have done everything from parking lots, parking garages, low, mid, and high-rise buildings, sidewalks and facades, manufacturing and industrial facilities. In other words, we can do everything from a flat parking lot in a retail center to multi-story garages of any height and any building on the exterior. The kinds of services we provide, the closed loop, and you're going to hear me use this term a lot, the closed loop power washing, and I'm going to explain to you what the difference is between traditional power washing and what we do. Parking lot striping and ADA compliance, mildew removal and painting, concrete and asphalt repair, seal coating. We can do that from a retail to commercial real estate to industrial environment, fully compliant with the requirements of wash water management and reclamation. Part of our peace of mind is ensuring our high quality services and compliant technologies. Believe it or not, and I call this the hidden exposure. Now, I was visiting with Sylvia. She's got a staff of only 12 to cover the whole city of Houston. But I will tell you this, that the fines that are related to non-compliance with the wash water runoff are pretty hefty, up to $250,000 per day per violation. Now, you're like, oh, well, why did I know about this? They're there, the enforcement's burgeoning, but what we try to do is to make sure they don't even come into play to begin with by having our technologies be fully compliant with the wash water runoff requirements. Moreover, we go above and beyond in respecting the integrity of the property. I mean, I've been out on job sites and see to the extent that we go to not disrupt operations, to work around schedules, to be sure that we're careful and sensitive to the integrity of the property that we're cleaning. I mean, the cleaning process in and of itself is an abrasive process, but we work very hard to work around our clients, their specific needs, and more importantly, protect the integrity of the asset as we do our operations. And finally, on that point is safety is key for us. We have ongoing training programs. Our people go through very methodical and timely training on the best practices in safety, limiting the liability of injury and all of that, and making sure we have the best expertise in the field for our customers.